I remember the first time I tried to juggle heavy squats with a big week of riding, and honestly, it was a complete disaster. My legs felt like concrete, my rides were terrible, and I thought weights and cycling just don't mix. But the truth is, when you actually balance them properly, strength training doesn't just fit alongside your cycling, it actually makes you faster, stronger, and leaner on the bike. So in this video, I'm going to break down the 3 biggest questions cyclists always ask me. How many times per week should you be weight training? Should you be doing weights before or after your rides? And the biggest one I always get, will lifting weights actually make me slower on the bike? And by the end of this, you'll have a clear plan to balance both without burning yourself out. And if you stick around to later, I'll be sharing the #1 biggest mistake cyclists make once their season kicks off and how to avoid it if your performance doesn't want to tank halfway through the season. So point 1, how many days per week should I be weight training? So when I first added weight training to my cycling, I made the classic mistake of 4 sessions a week, working out like I was a bodybuilder, and tried to ride on top of that. And sure enough, I got stronger in the gym, but my cycling fell apart. The key is a sweet spot, which for most people and most cyclists is about 2 sessions per week. And that should be enough to build some significant strength, support any injury prevention, and boost your power transfer on the bike. And also without leaving you feeling wrecked when it comes to your cycling and your training sessions on the bike. So if you think about it this way, 2 quality sessions, no mediocre ones, are certainly better than 5 sessions per week. And for me, that's what I stick to, 2 sessions a week, all year round, 1 on a Monday, 1 on a Thursday, giving enough time to recover around the cycling that I'm doing over weekends and within the week. And also give myself enough time to recover between sessions as well. And then also 2 sessions a week is really important because you're going to see some significant strength gains with 2 sessions per week. When you're doing just once a week, you're not allowed in for enough progressive overload. And if you're doing more than 2 sessions a week, you might only see a significant difference between 2 and 3 sessions in comparison to very little difference between 3 and 4 sessions. So if you're focusing on a full body workout, which is what I tend to prescribe for my clients and myself, focusing on key muscle groups like legs, back, shoulders, and chest and core, making those movements nice and functional like squats, deadlifts, walking lunges, step ups, chest presses, pull-ups, core stability exercises, shoulder presses. These things are going to engage multiple muscle groups. So you're hitting multiple muscle groups within 1 session, and you're overloading those muscle groups on a twice weekly basis. That way you're going to see a lot more growth in your strength, a lot more progress a lot quicker, and it should be enough to accommodate your cycling ability. And remember, your goal is to focus on improving your cycling ability through weight training, not to become a bodybuilder. So 2 sessions a week should be plenty. Should I weight train before or after a ride? I used to hit the gym myself hard and then jump straight on the bike a couple hours later, and I couldn't figure out why my legs felt so heavy. So the order does matter. If your cycling is your main goal, and I imagine it mostly is, then ride first and lift second. That way you're putting your best energy into the thing that matters most to you, and you can split them up also onto separate days entirely. And trust me, your performance will thank you for doing so. And also, if you've been cycling and then weight training afterwards, what I've also noticed myself is going for a light ride, maybe a commute after weight sessions, can really help to loosen up the muscles post exercise. But also, if you are doing a heavy weight session, the next day, try to follow that workout with a zone 2 session. You don't have to go in and do hard intervals the day after a heavy weight session, and try to space that out so you have a little bit more recovery. So intervals for me would be on a Wednesday, nice zone 2 on a Tuesday, after weights on a Monday, and then my Thursday weight session is going to be a rest on the Friday before a weekend ride on the Saturday. So allowing my body to recover well so I can get the most out of those harder efforts I am doing on the bike throughout the week. And finally, will lifting weights make me slower? This is one of the myths that keeps most of the cyclists I train out of the gym. I used to worry that bulking up would also make me slower after a few weeks of squats, would turn me into a bodybuilder, and I would be terrible on the climbs. But the reality is, when you actually train smarter, your weight training will actually make you faster. You're not chasing size, you're chasing more strength. You're chasing more power efficiency, more stability, and more muscle efficiency within your power stroke to improve better endurance over those longer rides. Science has shown that building more muscle helps to make your muscles more efficient at producing power during the pedal stroke, especially in one of the key dead spots within your pedal stroke, which is the hamstrings. A lot of cyclists tend to be too thigh dominant when it comes to pushing through the pedals and not pulling enough through the hamstrings. So working on those hamstrings, working on those groups of muscles such as glutes, really help to activate those muscles so they become more efficient in producing power. So when you're climbing, you can get more out of your pedal stroke. When you're sprinting, you can get more. So overall, weight training is going to be a win-win when it comes to producing more power more efficiently with less effort. Instead of thinking about going to the gym, trying to train like a bodybuilder, go to the gym regularly to help you become a better cyclist. And once you change that mindset, you'll find that your cycling ability will massively skyrocket with less hours on the bike. And if you remember that mistake I mentioned earlier, here it is. Too many cyclists drop strength training completely once their season starts. And this is a big error. You don't need to lift heavy weights year round, but one short maintenance session per week should be enough to hold on to some of those gains that you might build up during the off season. And this will stop you sliding backwards and regressing from all the hard work that you've done over the winter in the gym on a consistent basis. So now you know how to balance weight training and cycling without burning yourself out. Even with the training nailed, most cyclists are still leaving performance on the table when it comes to their nutrition. So if you want to learn how to fuel your rides so you can get leaner, recover faster, and actually enjoy more power on the bike, then check out my video on cycling nutrition somewhere around here.